Hello and welcome to Red Guru Videos. Well, this is an audio recording, but I wanted to talk about like a new revelation that I came to. It's not new, but it's pretty new. It's about the controller. So what I mean is, take a look, like, think of a question to ask, or think of this is how I came to think of this. So me and my buddy were driving across the country, and we were playing a game like where we would be like something along the lines of would you drive a car if every time you drove the car something amazing happened but also something bad happened? So like every time, like, so it was like would you shoot somebody if it gave you $1 million but you had to shoot somebody or whatever? Like, it was basically that, like, game or whatever. And we were playing that game, and I remember, like, we would take turns. He would ask me something, and then I would ask him something. And I was thinking, thinking of the question that I was going to ask him. I realized, how am I thinking of this? Like, I am not really doing anything. Somehow, I made the decision that I was going to think of a question, and the question popped up almost out of thin air. It basically does. When you think of doing something, tell me, how do you think? Like, you don't think. Thinking happens. And then that got me thinking how basically everything's like that. Like, how do you move your hand when you want to pick something up? How do you walk and run when you want to do something? You don't do anything. It's not like, so like when you're playing Xbox, right? Like, we think that like we are doing something, like when we do something, like we are doing something, but like almost as if we were playing Xbox and we were controlling the character with a remote control, but we are not. It's just happening, and you can't explain how you do it. Like, you can't explain how do you beat your heart. It just beats. But we think because we have some sense of control that we are controlling our limbs and controlling everything, when consciously we aren't. Something else is. And in my opinion, I believe that's what people describe as God. God is controlling everything, and like God makes the decisions. Like, why do you like the things that you like? Like, you didn't decide to like those things, or you didn't decide to not like those things. It just happened. You just didn't like them for some reason. Like, that's God. And in a way, those opinions and everything are what make up you, which means those opinions and everything, like, that you are essentially God. Like, I believe that's why they say God made man in his image, because everything that you do comes from God. Or the Hindus call it Brahman. Brahman in Hindu is basically God, is the Christian God, but they describe things a lot differently, but they're basically the same concept. It's this all-powerful force that controls everything, that built everything, that is everything. Like, without me even having to explain this, in the Bible, it says God is the Alpha and the Omega. God is everything, which means that everything that happens, everything that has happened, every decision you've made, every decision everybody's made was essentially the will of God, was God's will. But we have this sense that we control. And in a sense, depending on how you look at it, we do control, but it's not as Red Guru. Red Guru doesn't control. That's just a name. It's life is doing things through this tool of Red Guru. Life is doing this things through the tool of the thing that we call the thing that we call the body. It's basically a tool that is controlled by this source that we have no control over. But it gives us this sense of control. Because we perceive it, we believe that we are it. And that we are the tool. But we are actually, we are the universe, or we are God working through the tool. And so anyway, once I came to this realization, I started thinking to myself, like, the law of attraction made so much more sense. Because all I did when I wanted to think of a question was I did the process of thinking, which I don't know how to explain the process of thinking. It's just like you make the decision to think of a certain question or a certain thing that you want, and it happens. It just pops up. Boom. So basically, with the law of attraction, you just have to make the decision that you are going to do a certain thing. So if you want to build a business, you make the decision that you want to build a business. But it's not going to be as easy as asking a question. Like, your brain can come up with a question very much more easily because it doesn't require a lot of work. But when you make the decision to build a business, you're basically doing the same thing. You're using your brain, but now your brain needs to use your hands. Your brain needs to use tools on the outside and everything. So what you do is you make that decision to do that one thing that you want to do. And what you have to do is focus on that one thing until it is done. See, my problem especially is when I want to do something, I lose focus. I don't, like, I'll want to do that one thing and then my brain gets distracted by something and then I don't do it anymore. But if you really want something, all you do is focus on that one thing and your brain will automatically start doing, like, you will start doing the things that are required to get that result that you want. If it works with everything, if you want a girlfriend, all you have to do is make the decision, I want the girlfriend, and keep that focus on that result. And your brain is going to do all of the things that it needs to do to get that girlfriend or to get that boyfriend or to get that job or to get everything. But you have to use that brain. You have to use it. But once you realize that it's like, once you realize that all you have to do is basically do the same thing as coming up with a question, but remain focused on it longer than you would have to for a question. Because a question, you'll attract the question right away, right when you make the decision to get the question. But with a business, it's going to take more time. But as long as you're focused on it, it's going to happen. Which this is what I believe meditation is very good for, because with meditation, you're focusing on one thing over and over again. So you're learning to control your mind to focus on one thing for a long time. And you do this for 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, an hour a day, whatever. And so you like, in a way, you're focusing on like getting into a calm state for an hour, which gets you in a calm state, because that is what you're doing. You're focusing on your breath for an hour, where before, though, you think that you don't have this control, but you really do have this control. You just have to put it in. And it's like, when I say you have control, I don't mean like the body and everything has control, but like the you that is producing all of these results have the control. God has the control, and you essentially are a part of God. Like you do everything that he wants you to do. But I hope that through this audio, I have helped some people figure out how to at least get the process started in getting things done, in getting the results that they wish. Thank you. Red Guru, out.